Went from condos to Pop's house. On calls now bus routes.
All right, so I just watched an interview with Pastor T.D. Jakes and JEEZY, and it was a really good interview. If you have not seen this interview with JEEZY and Pastor T.D. Jakes, go to Next Chapter Podcast. I believe it's an interview that I would say all the subscribers who watch my channel will like an interview like this. It was a great interview. I really love the growth that I'm seeing out of JEEZY. You know, back in the days, I didn't see this type of growth out of JEEZY, man. He seems like an entirely different person. And to see him talk to T.D. Jakes with the growth, the wisdom, and the consciousness, just to understand not just where he's at in life, but to know where he needs to go in life. That's amazing. That's amazing. So I love seeing the growth, you know, out of JEEZY. Yeah, you know, I was one of those who was watching JEEZY in the beginning when JEEZY first came out. I'm talking about Trap or Die mixtape JEEZY, right? And I got a lot to say about that. We'll get to that later. But there's a specific part that I want to play, right, in regards to the conversation that they had. And it was when they was talking about how rappers are paid millions to rap about killing each other. I think this is a conversation that we should have as black men in today's day. I think it's a very important conversation. And if we don't have this conversation, it's going to get worse. Because the only one that could stop this, when it comes down to what we're seeing out of how rappers are being paid millions to rap about killing each other, and we're actually seeing it come to life, because most of the rappers that we know are in jail, right? And a lot of them are dead. And I'm talking about the young generation of rappers. So this is serious, but no one is going to stop it besides us. But I want y'all to hear the conversation that JEEZY and Pastor T.D. Jakes had about it. So let's go on and get to it, and then we'll talk a little bit about it.
See, what a lot of people I think don't understand about labels or sometimes publishers, if I went to a label and said I wanted to do a song about stabbing cats and skinning them alive.
Terrible, by the way.
Yeah. There would be no question. Right. Absolutely not. Right. But if I say I want to do a song about shooting people in the street, right, shooting other brothers in the street, right, that's okay.
Right.
And I think in some ways they want to shape how the world sees us by only showing one dimension of the black experience. And it is a legitimate experience, but it's not the only experience.
Well, it's the only experience that's going to bring you. See, this is the thing. And I told somebody this other day, I've never heard a country singer talk about going and hunt and kill another country singer.
Right.
That ain't what they're selling.
Right.
But it's our trauma. Like, say for instance, like the more trauma you have, the better of a story that you're going to tell. And while you're telling that story and you're incorporating what's going on, the tension builds because you're talking about real people and real things. So these people are doing things behind the scenes that we all know culturally or that are happening, from people getting killed and all these things going on that build for a great story overall, because you get to see it in real time. And those great stories come with a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So they're giving these kids with all this trauma, you know, these tens and 20s of millions of dollars for these stories, knowing that at some point all this stuff is going to catch up with them. And they're going to be killed, but that doesn't matter, because if I own your masters and your publishing, then that means I get this money for, it's like getting somebody's real estate portfolio for free. You're going to get paid forever.
Yeah.
And they understand that, because that's the business. And they'll set you up in the sense of that is because my uncle used to tell me all the time, I was young, I was like, I'm going to get a Rolls Royce. He's like, well, if you don't get your mind right, you're going to just be a person in a Rolls Royce with you know, a crazy person in a Rolls Royce.
Right.
Because you still have to work on you. And my thing is, with this culture, what I don't like about it is, you know, there's so many other things that we can talk about instead of hunting each other down.
Right.
And the way they're teaching this younger generation to be significant is, if I can take your life, because I already got in my mind I can't go be successful with nothing else.
Right.
But this is gonna give me instant gratification and power because I'm significant, because I can do something to hurt you. And you know it's true, because look at how it is, Bishop. You know, you grew up, I grew up, you know, your uncle might have had a 38 special. You know what I'm saying? That's 6 shots.
Right.
You know, they're giving these kids, you know, fully automatic handguns that can shoot, you know, 70 to 80, 100 rounds in 20 seconds. Like, who you trying to, you know, you overkilling, right? So, and the thing, one of my great friends always told me, is the money's in the snakes. The money's in the snake's pit. So, in order to get this culture money that is there, it's there. But you got to stick your hand in this snake pit, and you gonna get bit. You gonna get, you know, all these things are gonna happen to you because the money is there. Because the money is in our trauma. It is in our dysfunction. It's in our inability to deal with life sober. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, there is no poetry in it anymore. It's really basically a commercial to go out here and feel it's okay to take somebody away from their family because you felt disrespected. And that to me says that they don't have conflict resolution or anything else to live for, because if I looked at it like that, there's a lot of wet pillows in the penitentiary, and it's just like, why would I have to harm you? You didn't hurt my family. You didn't touch my kid. I mean, you didn't do anything to me personally, but you said something to me on this app.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? On this piece of technology, you said something that was disrespectful, and in my mind, I'm like, I can't let the world see me go out like that. And like one of my great guys say, a bad day for the ego is a great day for the soul, because it's just like, when I had to swallow my ego, probably one of the hardest things I ever had to do. But when I tell you, when time passed and I saw the things that I escaped and started to understand, like, okay, this is the mastery of being a real man. A real man is going to tell you that I'm going to protect you come in my house, we ain't got to even have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you come in my yard, we ain't got to talk about it. Like, because I'm still that. Once a lion, you're always a lion. You're going to keep teeth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not even the point. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can handle myself physically. I box, you know, at least 5-6 times a week. Like, I'm not, there's no fear here. But then if I'm going to be in a real leadership position, I can look at you just like I would look at my dad and say, that's just Jay. I can look at you and say, that's just him. This guy has more to do with him than me. And that's the part that I don't like about the music, because I feel like it's a commercial for us to go out here and just continue to keep killing each other and not be able to go support events because you're scared of what's going to happen. And you're seeing these kids going to prison. And if you really look at it right now, you got all these multi-millionaires that are basically running Fortune 500 companies that are in and out of prison because nobody's sitting there telling them, like, man, you made it, you out. You know what I'm saying? You're good. You're safe. You know, you're good, brother. You don't have to. And then if you feel like you need security, go get you some Secret Service.
Wow. What a powerful conversation to have with one of the artists whose music was probably some of the most influential when he was out doing this thing at a high level. For people who don't know, JEEZY was one of those artists. When it came down to following what he was saying as an artist, JEEZY was one of them artists. You know, one thing that we cannot be hypocritical to is the fact that music is very influential. And music can make you go from being someone currently to someone totally different because that's your favorite artist. Or what they're saying is something that seems cool and feels cool and you want to be cool. That have to be understood because we all have been there. You know, I've been in a car with homies to where they going to do a drill. And I'm talking about back in the days when I was hanging out with one of my really close friends, who was a blood, right? And they was going out looking for someone about to do a drill. Now, at that point in time, I wasn't thinking smart. I don't know what I was doing in that car. But the entire time they were in the car, they was playing this song off of Banging on Wax from an artist named B Braids over and over and over and over again. Talking about basically going out there and looking for his ops. Over and over. Then, play that song with B Braids and Little Hawk again. Over and over and over again. That's all they wanted to listen to. Going out there looking for who they was going to do the drill on. Like I say, thank God nothing happened that night. Don't ask me what I was doing in that car. But I seen how much music could influence a person. And I would even go to myself. When this man right here who we looking at first came out with Trap or Die. And I would go to the club and everyone would be out there with them snowman shirts on, driving in JAKES and all type of nice cars. I was like, nah, I got to get some of this money. I knew how them young dudes were getting money. I was like, I got to get some of this money. So I started hustling myself. And every time I was out hustling, I was listening to JEEZY or Paul Wall or Slim Thug. I had to have on that hustle music. Dipset. I had to listen to hustle music when I was out there doing my thing. But JEEZY influenced me to want to get out there and hustle. And I was doing illegal hustles. Music is very influential. People have to understand that. So this is why it's important to go against what we're seeing that's being put out there and promoted by the labels when it come down to the music that's out there right now. Drill music. Music that's having young black boys killing other young black boys after doing a diss song. That's the music that's being highlighted right now. Not just by us, which we have to get a hold to, but by the labels as well. The labels do not care. The labels is making money. The labels looking at it like, hey, if that person died, and yeah, we get their entire catalog. We already own their catalog, but we don't have to worry about them fighting for their catalog. We got it and we good. It's free, a free catalog. So let them go out there and kill each other. Who cares? So the labels don't care. The ones who have to care is us. The ones who have to have this conversation is us. Look at what's going on. When it comes down to the top artists in the game right now, most of them are fighting cases. Some of them are in jail. And some of them are dead. They look at the artists like Drake and Kendrick as old heads. So they're not really focused on them. These young dudes are focused on the Dirks. They were focused on the King Vons. They're focused on the Uzi Verts and a lot of these artists who want to get out there and talk about having a gun in their hand and going out there and committing crimes. If you go on YouTube right now and look up hip hop music and stroll down, most of them songs are going to be diss songs. This is the generation of music that we're in. This is why it's important to have these type of conversations. And I love that you have a pastor and a hip hop artist talking about this, not afraid to come together and have this conversation, because at the end of the day, it's affecting the community. It's affecting the community tremendously. That's the common ground right there. I don't even know if JEEZY's Christian or not, but we have a common ground. We both believe that what's being put out there is affecting the community, and we got to talk about this because it's hurting us. It's killing young black boys. And a lot of times we don't want to talk about it until it affect us, right? But why not have that conversation now before it affects someone else or it affect you close to home? That's why it's important. See, whatever you put out there and talk about, it's going to have some type of influence. If you're doing gospel music and you're talking about God and leading others to Christ, guess what? It's going to influence others, and you're going to have others out there wanting to learn more about Christ. Right now, if even from jail, if Young Dirk did a gospel album and started talking about Christ, you will have a lot of young kids out there now going to get a Bible so they could learn about what Dirk is talking about. I promise you that. That's the way it works. If Kevin Gates today go get a Bible and sit in front of a camera and start talking about the word of God, you're going to have a lot of young kids out here going to get a Bible so they can keep up with what Kevin Gates is talking about. So we have to be conscious of this. We have to understand what's going on out here. We can't continue to be blind to it and just think that these labels are just giving people from our community opportunities to go out there and just become rich. And now they're cool with us. And yeah, I knew you could do it. Nah. They're looking at the views on YouTube, seeing that you went viral off of talking about killing another black man. And they over here looking at you like dollars and saying, shoot, I can make some money off of this person. In fact, let's give them a deal now before something happens so we can get a hold to that catalog. You better believe that's how they're talking. You better believe it. So we have to be aware of that. And we have to be aware of how influential music can be. We don't have to talk about those things. To be honest, the focus should be positivity and leading others to God. Because that's what brings real joy. That's what brings the real peace, the real love, the fruits of the spirit. Things that these young kids don't know nothing about because they so focused on dissing each other and putting out drill music. But if the top artists in the industry start to stand up, even the ones they call old heads, the Drake, the Kendricks, the Waynes, even if those artists stand up and say, hey, let's all come together. We got to stop this. We got to completely stop this. Because too many young black boys are dying. We got to stop this. Let's come together and let's focus on love. Let's focus on the fruits of the spirit. Let's focus on putting words out there when it comes down to the music that we're creating. Let's focus on putting words out there that's going to bring these young brown and black boys together. It's time. But the sad thing is, I don't see that happening. People are so focused on the bag. Right now, the labels is paying you for that diss song. They want that diss song that's going to make your ops mad, but it's going to go viral on YouTube. That's what they want. And instead of standing together against it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a lot of black young people folding and saying, I got to go get that bag, man. What you want me to talk about? All right, cool. But no matter what, it's important that we continue to talk about this. And that's why I say shout out to JEEZY. And shout out to Bishop T.D. Jakes. Because nobody have this conversation. Nobody. Not nobody who have the type of presence that they have to where millions of people know who they are. Nobody on their level is talking about this. Nobody who's in the place that they're in is talking about this. So I hope that we see more of this. You know, when you see the round tables with Kirk Franklin and a lot of those men that sit at the table with him, which is a great thing, I want to see them have conversations like this. Because I believe this is one of the number one things when it comes down to the music and hip hop that's leading, that's sparking, that's developing and creating young black boys to go out there and commit crimes and kill each other. I believe it's the music. That's the number one killer. People don't have to agree with me. People can look at me like I'm crazy. But I believe it is the number one killer. If music changed today, when it come down to hip hop, today, we will see changes in young boys. We will see it immediately. But it's too much money surrounded around it. It's too influential. Like I said, when I first heard a JEEZY song back in the day, I was working security inside of a booth, listening to the mixtape with my headphones on. And I was listening like, that same day I quit. I got money together, went to my boy Dwayne, and I said, hey, I need that, and I need it now. This is a fact, true story. That's how influential music is. So these young boys, they took it to the next level because of what they hearing when it come down to Dirt. When it come down to the Vons, who are not here anymore. And so many other artists. They took it to the next level because they focused on drills and going against their ops and holding guns in their videos. So in their mind, it's kill, 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 or be killed. Because I gotta go viral. So I'm ready to kill, and I'm on point if someone is trying to kill me. And we see all that's leading these young boys to is dead or in jail. So amazing conversation again, man. Amazing conversation. I'm gonna give them a because I just love conversations like this. You know, and you know me, I'm always gonna take it a step further. I hope JEEZY start doing music that lead others to Christ. I like I said, I don't know if he's a believer. He's sitting with, you know, Bishop T.D. Jakes. I don't know, but I would love to see it. I don't think his last album was reflecting that. I heard a couple of songs on YouTube. It was kind of like his breakup album, I'm Back in the Streets. I'm just saying. But you know what? It's a step forward to sit down with Bishop and have this conversation. So amazing conversation. And again, I hope that the step that a lot of these artists start taking next is at least having a conversation. And then eventually maybe get to changing the music. But let's at least have the conversation. And we're seeing it right now, so hopefully we can see more have it.